copyright claim from IN Grooves, or In Grooves, whatever they call themselves. They've claimed on so many of my videos, and apparently they're doing it to loads of people. You know, even if there's a random bit of music playing in the background, like for a few seconds in Starbucks, they will then claim that they're the copyright holders. But, I mean, okay, I used Milkshake by Khalees in a video recently because I read on the website someone was saying, how can they do this? And someone was saying, well, no, but they don't care anymore. And I thought, okay, that's all right, you couldn't use that without fear, because that was on in its entirety. I used a little bit and immediately got a copyright claim from In Grooves. I thought, okay, all right, we'll allow that. My channel's not monetised anyway, I don't make anything from it, because I haven't monetised it. And on the next video that I published, which I'd already uploaded, there was a very, very old song, which I would have been thought in public domain. It was released like in about 1920 something, called Close Your Eyes by Al Bowley. And no, another copyright claim from IN Grooves, the same one. And if it's not them, it's the Orchard Music Group, and they're doing it to loads of people apparently. And if you click you dispute this with YouTube, there's only a list of things you can click to say why, one of which you have to say I own the copyright, or I have been given the copyright by whoever, something like that. And of course neither of which is true. There's nothing to say I dispute this because I don't believe they own it, or because they're scammers, because they're doing it to loads of people. So you're stuck. So YouTube doesn't care. YouTube/Google doesn't care, basically, especially about smaller channels, that they only care about channels that they can make money from. And I probably, if it happened to them, they'd do something to help them. But anyhow, that's what I've discovered anyway from what I've done, the research. I've tried to look into it, and I don't have time to mess around, so it's had to stand. So anyone who watches those videos, not only do I not get paid, but some anonymous people, nothing to do with me, who's done none of the work and the editing and the heartache involved, get paid for something that's nothing to do with them. And the artists aren't getting paid because apparently, from what I gather, from what I read on, but anyhow, I won't go into it all because it's taking up time. I just thought I'd mention it. It might affect someone else that's a small person on YouTube that uses a bit of music innocently and then finds IN Grooves or the Orchard Music Group has nabbed them. But what I wanted to add on earlier, what I was saying earlier about this copyright business, I'll try and say this quickly, because it affects anyone who puts videos on YouTube that just have a few bars of bit of music in the background. You might have a video up that's an hour long, and there might just be a few seconds of a music playing in the background somewhere, like if you're in a cafe or at Starbucks or anywhere, has happened with me many times. And well, I'll say, you know, the video probably wouldn't be an hour long, but I mean, some people put them up an hour long, or half an hour long, or whatever, and it takes a lot of hard work with all the editing and everything you have to do. And then some wealthy company who you've never heard of will then claim copyright on a few seconds of that music, and then they'd be being paid every time someone watches your video. And you might say, well, it won't affect someone like me so much because I haven't monetised my channel anyway, because the main reason I didn't, because I just feel my videos never been good enough for people to watch. For me, I mean, not good enough for me to expect YouTube to pay me for people watching them, because I think, you know, they're just not good enough. And I've tried to improve, but I haven't got the right equipment or anything. And anyway, without going into all that, even if it's not monetised, why should someone get paid for doing nothing for what you've done to put a lot of hard work? I mean, my primary aim in the first place was putting videos up, was to put some information out there about different products that people may not have heard of, or products that people might want to hear about. Like I started with the Attitude nail polishes. I think my first video was a baby lips video because people seemed so interested in the baby lips, and I'd started collecting them. But Attitude nail polish video, because there wasn't any up on Attitude, and they're really, really good nail polish. So that was the primary concern. I didn't know anything about you monetising and all that, and I found out you could, and I thought, oh well, I won't do that because my videos aren't good enough for that anyway. And It might be a lot of palaver, I don't know. I've never really looked into it that much. I just felt that I'm not good enough. I'm no Michelle Phan or, you know, someone like that who does really good quality videos, or Venus Angelic, or someone who does videos that people really look forward to seeing. And so my channel's not monetized anyway, but that doesn't mean to say I'm okay with people claim, like the Orchard Music Group or IN Grooves or In Grooves, which are even worse apparently. They just seem to latch onto anything. And what I found out, I did a little bit of research, and it seems that these people, these wealthy companies, they take a bit of music that's in the public domain, that's free for anyone to use, but they will then put copyright on it for themselves. So anyone who then uses that gets a copyright claim, and those company gets paid every time someone watches their video. So if your channel's monetized and you're getting paid for people watching your videos, if those companies claim a copyright, even if it's only a few seconds in maybe a half-hour long video, you won't get a penny. They'll be paid every time someone watches your video, and you won't be able to let that video, even if millions of people watch it, you won't get a penny. They will. And if you, I mean, once before I took a piece of music that a chap had put up on his YouTube page, a music box melody for anyone to take and use. I did that, and then I had it in 3 different videos, one on my original channel and 2 on this channel. And then I thought, hang on, how come there's adverts on these videos? And it went on for a few months with adverts on the video, and I thought, oh well. And then I looked, I thought, hang on, what does this copyright claim? And these people, I can't remember the name of them, but they'd taken that piece of music that he'd provided free for anyone to use, which they had the right to do, but then they'd put had a beat of their own beat over it, and then claimed the copyright on it. And I'd used his original, not theirs, so I had to dispute it with YouTube, and able to tick, and I sent the links proving that their piece of music, I'd found it online, and which they were selling, which was not the same. And anyway, the claim was taken off immediately. So they immediately went to all 3 of those videos where they'd claimed, and they put a dislike on all 3 of them, because none of those videos had any likes or dislikes. All of a sudden, each one had 1 dislike against it for what these people. I thought, how petty. But anyhow, that was just someone who, they're not as bad as this Orchard Music Group and In Grooves, who just seem to put copyright on anything. I mean, there was the Milkshake song by Khalees. I was watching the video and I read through some of the comments, and there's a comment thread where someone's saying, I don't know how they got away with doing this at the record company, and someone was saying, oh well, they know they don't care because they went bankrupt or something, or went broke or something like that. And I thought, oh well, that means that's fair use then, anyone can use. So I didn't even, because there's quite a lot of videos on YouTube of Milkshake in its entirety, and I only used a small section of it, and got a copyright claim from these IN Grooves. And what I don't like is if YouTube give you a few options to tick if you say you dispute it, and if you tick like, oh, there's lots of people are using it or whatever anyway, and it's fair use. No, it's not yours, it's stealing, it says. And I think, well, hang on, how dare they say it's stealing for someone else to claim copyright on it when the original artist is not getting anything for it, and they're claiming copyright, because as far as YouTube is concerned, it's the copyright holder that has the right to it. Whether if they claim that they've got the copyright, YouTube don't question it, it seems. And yet I understood it's fraudulent to claim copyright on something that you don't have copyright on. So, okay, the Khalees track, I thought, okay, let it go. Then the next video I uploaded, it was a very, very old song. I think it was released in about 1920 something, called Close Your Eyes on My Last Video by Al Bowley. But no, they've claimed copyright on that as well. So anyone who watches either of those 2 videos, In Grooves is the one being paid for it. I'm not being paid because my channel's not monetised anyway. But even if it was, I wouldn't be allowed to have anything, because In Grooves wouldn't have it because they've put a copyright claim on the music. And it's just unbelievable. And so surely that is, and they're stealing it, because then if they put a claim on anyone whose channel is monetised, oh sorry, things are falling down, those people then aren't, aren't they stealing all that person's hard work? Like three quarters or 99% of the video is ignored, and they're just claiming money on a few seconds from a song that may be heard in the background when they're making their video or on the radio. And I think that's wrong, but YouTube don't care. YouTube, Google don't care about that. Anyway, that's something I wanted to say. So if you're not interested, but anyone who puts videos on YouTube should be interested in it, because it's going to affect you at some time or another. And I just don't like unfairness, so that's why I mentioned it. The first copyright claim I ever got was from the Orchard Music Group, and it was just a bit of obscure Turkish music playing in the background, because as I was filming my video, that I had someone's YouTube video I was watching, and it picked up on that, and it said the track was called, I think it said it was called Habib, but when I looked it up I couldn't find any real information on it. Well, so I let it stand. I thought I'm not going to dispute it, because maybe they do own the copyright on it. I was doubtful, but when I look at that now, it's still got Orchard Music Group claiming the copyright, so every time anyone watches that video they get paid for it, but they've changed the name of the piece of music, so it's called something different now, even though it's the same video and the same piece of music. So what's going on, what that's all about, I really don't know. I thought that was a bit odd, but yeah, that's just something else I've remembered, so I'll tack this. I'm doing this now as a separate video because it was part of my haul video, but I thought, well, a lot of people that watch hauls, they're not going to be interested in this, but I thought I could put this in as a separate video because it might help people that put their own videos up and may not realise that this sort of thing happens. And I don't know what to do about these people, because like I say, it gives you a list of reasons why you can dispute the claim, but the only reason that YouTube really take notice of is if you can say you own the copyright yourself, or you've been given permission by the copyright holder. And of course, as the copyright holder is in Grooves and they haven't given permission, there's nowhere for you to say, I dispute this because I don't believe they are the copyright holder. The time I was able to dispute it, because these people had taken the music box melody, I said I dispute this because I have been given permission, and then I explained why, because the man who put it up on his channel was giving anyone permission there to take it and use it, and other people had been having problems with these people, because he'd got a claim himself on his own piece of music that he'd written from these people who'd taken it and then put copyright on it. But at least I got that taken off. But in Grooves, apparently, from what I understand from what other people have said on their videos, even when it's been proven that they were not the copyright holders and that the people themselves were, in Grooves still come back and say, no, we are, and they just never give up, and then YouTube goes with what they say. So yeah, so this is going to be a separate video now in its own right, so I hope that that's some use, some help to someone. Yeah, and there's no guarantee that you won't get a copyright claim even if you use one of the pieces of music that YouTube provide for you to use from the YouTube audio library, as I found that when I used a piece of music from YouTube's audio library for my video on the Burt's Bees lip balm, and so then I was very surprised when it was uploaded and processed that there was a copyright claim on it. And I think that's probably from In Grooves as well, though I may be totally wrong because I haven't got it in front of me to look at the moment, but I got a feeling that when I checked recently that their name was the one on it. But if I find that to be not the case, I will put in the description box below that it wasn't them claiming on that video, but that was provided free from YouTube. And when I download a piece of music from YouTube's audio library, I always make sure I use one where it says you do not have to say that you don't have to put all the information in. So I usually do, if I think about it, I usually do put who the people are that's done it. I mean, Silent Partner, they're one that does quite a lot, and So I usually, if I think about it, or if it's on long enough, I mention it. But anyway, I got a copyright claim, and it said ads may appear on your video, and I thought, well, this is a bit of a cheek. I got this from YouTube Audio Library, so I didn't question that at the time, because that was over a year ago now, and I thought that was probably right. But I'm thinking now that was probably wrong as well, that it was one of these scammers that was doing it. And to just get quickly back to what the Orchard Music group, this business with them, and the first copyright claim I had about this piece of music that they said was called Habib at the time, and then now it's meant to be called something different, even though it's the same piece of music. What made it doubly annoying is my video, for the start of the video, I had used the start of the video. Sorry, I get so nervous when I'm doing videos. For the start of the video, I'd used a piece of music that from the YouTube Audio Library anyway, which they provide free for anyone to use, and I'd used Feur de Lis by Beethoven, because I like that. And then when the video was finished, after it, because YouTube don't tell you until it's all processed and everything, and then they tell you if there's a copyright claim. Otherwise, if they could tell you, well, it's uploading, you'd stop wasting your time and take it off. Because another one went on one day, and then it said banned in all countries. There was a few seconds of an Adele track in the background on the radio. I didn't even know it was Adele, because so I had to take the video off or mute it, part of it, with her in the background. And anyway, I can't remember what I did, but I had to delete the video and then upload it all over again. As if they had told me beforehand, I could have stopped uploading it and not wasted all that time, because that's another issue. But what I wanted to say about this particular track that they said was called Habib, and now turns out to be called something else, because I allowed it to stand, underneath the video, Google, YouTube had written automatically music used Habib in Google iTunes. And so I thought, hang on, this is going to be so confusing. So then I had to write a load more information in the information box under the video, saying the piece of music used at the start is Feur de Lis by Beethoven from YouTube Audio Library, and this random piece of music that was playing somewhere in the video was what YouTube are referring to. And then the same thing happened with another video. The video I'm thinking of was when I was filmed a few sections in Starbucks one day, and there was different music in each video clip in the background each time. And I uploaded the video, took about an hour and a half, and there was no copyright claim on it, but there was a few seconds in the video which I wasn't happy with, so I deleted it, took those few seconds out. I can't remember what it was, but I thought, no, it wasn't good enough, so I deleted those few seconds, put the video back as it was, and this time it took about 4 hours to upload, all night. I was waiting for it, and at the end of it, it said there's a copyright claim. They're allowing you to keep it, and I think that was in Grooves as well. And it was by somebody I'd never heard of, a random piece of music playing in the background in Starbucks. So when the video then was published, after a couple of days, there was an information underneath from YouTube. Music used in video is, and then they told you what it was called, Bayi or someone. I think that was the one. And then I had to go in and write information saying that the piece of music used at the start and finish at the video was from YouTube's Audio Library, and that is this. And also, so that there wouldn't be confusion for people listening, I thought, they might hear another piece of music that they liked, or they might hear the music at the beginning and end and like that, and then think, oh, it's called this, and then they go and maybe buy that off Google iTunes or whatever. I don't know how these things work, because I don't do that. And then they're going to be annoyed to find out it's not the piece of music, and they're going to think it's my fault because it's my video. So I had to say the piece of music that Google is referring to as being the music used in the video is actually this small piece of music at the end, and then I had to put the time in the video where that occurred, so to stop any confusion. And so why did it pick up on that and not the other music playing in the background in Starbucks? in my video. So the other people whose songs could be quite plainly heard, and even heard more clearly than this piece of music that this In Grooves claimed the copyright on, and is then getting paid for every time anyone listens to it. Sorry about the motorbikes going past, they're always going past here any hour of the day or night. But so yeah, that's another annoying thing that you can do nothing about. So then you've got to write all this information in so that people don't think, oh, I like that piece of music, and then look and see what Google has said, and then they get it and they find out it's a totally different piece of music, because and then you've got no control over what happens in your video. But yeah, the whole thing seems totally unfair, especially to small content creators, on small YouTubers. That, I mean, my channel's so small, it's hardly exists at all. But I just can't stand unfairness. And that's, I think I've said quite enough on the subject now, but I hope someone somewhere knows how to fight back against these people, to do something about it. I know it's a big I know someone who's had literature come through the post about all these different money-making schemes and everything, and one of the things you can do, he hasn't done it because he doesn't agree with it, is, how to claim copyright on music that's in the public domain, and then every time anyone uses that, you can get copyright on it. I don't know how it's done, I don't know what they have to do, and I wouldn't want to know, because it wouldn't be something I would want to do. But it is obviously some sort of scam. It's scammers do it, and they're winning until someone can fight back against them, who's got the time and energy and money and not going to be so stressed that their health is going to suffer. Then, and good luck to anyone with that. No. And another thing I wanted to say as to this copyright thing, another point I'd thought of, when these people then claimed copyright on what could just be a few seconds of a song in the background in maybe a half-hour long video of yours, the way I see it, if it's the original artist claiming the money, or their record company, record label, or agent or whatever, okay, that's fine. But these people, like from what I have read anyway, maybe they are totally legitimate, but the Orchard Music Group and In Grooves, from what I have read, that isn't the case with these people, these organisations. I'm sure that some of the people that music they claim copyright on they have got the genuine rights to, but because people have maybe registered with them or whatever. But I can't believe that's the case. It was something like the Al Bowley track. I mean, it was released in 1920 something, as far as I can gather. And but the point is, what about your copyright? Or what about the copyright of any songs that's also in the background, but which the YouTube bot ignores? It picks up on a few seconds of something which it matches, ID match, with something they've got listed as belonging to, the copyright belonging to In Grooves or Orchard Music Group. What about the other songs by other artists, maybe even more well known? I mean, for example, in this video of mine where In Grooves had claimed copyright on the whole half-hour long video because of a few seconds heard playing in the background in Starbucks that you could hardly make out what it was, elsewhere in the same video you could hear Arctic Monkeys in the background, and it was quite plainly Arctic Monkeys, and yet that was not picked up on, that was ignored. Whereas this other track, it was you could hardly recognise what it was, and it's not by anyone that anyone it's not by somebody really instantly recognisable and well known. And so there's the perplexity of it. I was perplexed and puzzled by that. I thought, well, how come if they're going to pick up on copy, because when I listened to the video before I uploaded it, I thought, oh no, there's the Arctic Monkeys quite plainly in the background on my radio. That's bound to get a copyright claim. And then when it did, or maybe I think that might have been the video that didn't get any copyright claim the first time, and then I didn't like about a few seconds of the video, so I deleted it. from YouTube, deleted those few seconds, put the same video back, and this is when it took all night, and then it got the copyright claim, and I thought, oh, it's realised the Arctic Monkeys are there. But no, it wasn't. It was this Ibai, I think, someone, I think it was this, or it could have been somebody else. Carla Jefferson would it have been. So sorry if these people are well known, but it's not anything, they're not anyone I've ever heard of. I never hear them on the radio. That doesn't mean to say they're not not heard of in their own field, but I mean, you'd think that someone who's really famous, like the Arctic Monkeys, would be picked up on more than. But the point is, I know I go around the houses to make a point because I can't get my sort of point out without rambling because I get so nervous. But that's two things. What about the copyright on someone like the Arctic Monkeys, which was ignored in this particular video, and this other person's song was not? And so whoever's claiming copyright on that person's song is then, you could say, claiming copyright for the whole video, including the Arctic Monkeys. So they're being played, and their agents or representatives or whatever aren't getting anything because the person for the more obscure person, to me anyway, obscure, is getting the money. So it wouldn't have mattered if it was the other way around, if it was the Arctic Monkeys that had been picked up on and all the other songs ignored. You know, it's the principle that I'm getting at. So what about the copyright on that? And what about your copyright? If it's your video, and if your channel is monetised, and then that means for the whole video, no matter what else you may have done in it, you may have been showing original creative works of art that you did yourself, or something you've written yourself. But all that will be ignored. And all that would be picked up on is a few seconds in the background of something that you may not even been aware of when you were making the video. And everything you did would be just wiped out and count for nothing. You won't get a penny. I mean, it would be more fair if the system said, OK, there's a few seconds in the background of this video, which might be half an hour long, and showing creative works by a YouTuber, but we're going to take some money for that few seconds of copyright that we've heard in the background, but the rest of the video you're still going to get paid for because that copyright is yours. But no, the system doesn't work like that. So it's not geared to protect the interests of ordinary people who are creating content to make YouTube what it is. When YouTube started, that's what it was all about. But then of course Google got involved and took over and bought them. And sorry if I'm shouting, but it's something I feel strongly about. And I always shout, but I try not to shout, but I get so anxious when I make videos anyway, so then I end up apologising for everything. But yeah, so when YouTube first started, it was done by people for people, but now it's Google that's taken over, and it's mainly a money-making thing. And I did read somewhere, they just don't care about YouTube, because even though, yeah, they make money from it, from like the ads and everything, they don't make that much money from it, so they're not really that bothered about it. And in that case, why don't they sell it to someone who would be bothered about it? And so anyway, it's no good going on about speculating, we're just talking about the copyright. So yeah, so please, anyone who's making videos and maybe just starting out, please bear all this in mind and try and don't let yourself, if your channel's monetised or you want to monetise your channel, don't let yourself fall into the wasteland or the trap, whatever. So yeah, that's all we wanted to say on the matter. I think I've said it all now. Are we still recording? Yes, we are. Stop.